for using each and everything, you should have IAM role with you. Okay, so let me go on to role. I have to create a role. So what I am using? I am using a Lambda. I'll go to next. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I am using a SQS service, right? Where is SQS? We don't have SQS right now. Okay, so we'll select Lambda. So in that case, we'll give the permissions for SQS. So we'll select the Lambda and we'll give the permissions for SQS. So SQS full access. So what I have done is I have gave the Lambda function with the permissions of SQS. So this role works in that way, like if whenever I am accessing the Lambda function with the help of SQS, so SQS or Lambda like have the full access. Review it, and I have to give the role name. So I'll give SQS Lambda. That means I have established the connection between SQS and Lambda with this role. Okay, and you guys can see trusted entity is Lambda and the policy is SQS full access. So SQS like Lambda have the full access of SQS. So Lambda can use the SQS. After creating this role, you can go on to Lambda. You can go on to SQS and then configure the Lambda function up, because we don't have Lambda function right now, so we cannot configure it right now. If you want, you can create it. So we are not creating it because we'll see it on some other days, like after 2 to 3 days, like whenever we'll see the Lambda function. So on that day, like after I'll teach you the Lambda function, I'll show you how you guys can configure Lambda and SQS together. Okay. So this way you can configure the SQS queue service. Now after configuring the SQS and after you configure the Lambda function also, how you guys will send the message, because I have told you now, SQS will not automatically send the message. You have to come to SQS and send the message. So what you need to do is you need to select the SQS, go on to action, and here you guys can see we have got this send a message. So you need to send a message here. Then just simply write a message. Hello SQS Lambda. Then you need to give a group ID. So group ID, you can give a specific group ID of your own choice. There is no nowhere written that group ID should be this and this. You can give group ID of your own choice, and then after giving the group ID, you need to send the message. So let me give the group ID test SQS and test SQS group ID and message. Okay, I've gave the same group ID and message duplication ID, and then I'll send the message. So you guys can see your message has sent and will be ready to receive in 15 seconds. Okay. So this way you can send a message with SQS. After you configure the Lambda trigger, and you can also see, like you can also view which messages you have sent. So what you have to do to see which messages you have sent, you have to go to view messages, view and delete messages, and you have to start polling the message. So you guys can see here I have sent this message, hello SQS. They have told that I have sent this message, and this is the size, this is the sequence number, and send time is this group ID, message group ID, message duplication. So this way you can see which message you have sent and which message like is not received. So let me stop it now and delete the message. So have you guys understood what is SQS? Guys, have you understood SQS? Lokendra, you can configure the Lambda with SQS, and then you can use like you can use SQS with the help of Lambda. Yeah, SQS is only for Lambda. And like, okay, I'll tell you something about Lambda. Lambda is a serverless compute service which AWS provides us. So you can, what you can do is you can write your own code, and you can use, or like you can run your code, you can execute your code with any of the service with the help of Lambda. So what you like, what how you can use SQS? You have to configure the Lambda function for with your SQS, and then with the help of Lambda function, you can like run your code, you can execute your code for any of the services. Okay, so we'll see what is Lambda function in future. So you can use the SQS with Lambda only, but with the help of Lambda, you can perform the task with other services also. Such as means, Ravi, such as means. Other tasks like if you have the servers, right? If you have the servers, operating system, and so lamp you can do the administrative task of servers, operating system with the help of Lambda function. You can perform the task which is related to infrastructures of the services with the Lambda function. You can perform the task which is related to maintenance with the Lambda function. You can do the auto scaling task with Lambda function. You can do the monitoring and logging task also with the Lambda function. So you can do multiple tasks with Lambda functions. Okay, Lokendra, have you understood? You can see here we have got the encryption. So you can create encryption during configuring the SQS. We can also go on to configure SQS. Okay, let me show it to you. So what you need to do is you can either enable the encryption during the configuration of SQS, or you can also go select the SQS, go on to action, and configure the SQS again. You need to go down and you can enable the server side encryption. So you can enable it. Okay. Okay. So SQS is like you guys understood SQS? Data delay in SQS. Okay. So whenever you configure SQS, right? Make sure you configure all the delay things with zero. Okay, like here we have got delivery delay, so make sure that you change it to zero. Like by default the delivery delay is zero, so you'll not get the delay. Down means it's not working, right? So my queue is right now also I'm not using the queue, so I can configure it again and again. So right now also my queue is down, I'm not using this queue, right? So my queue is down right now also, I can configure it. Okay. Okay, okay. Let me read it, Lokendra, what you have written. So in that case, what you will do? Okay, Lokendra, like you are asking in that way, right? Like if you have one queue and you don't want to use that queue, you want to use another queue with your services, right? So how
Something
you
like
will face all? Tell me.
something like we have auto scaling to increase whenever the load is increased. So additionally, it will add the machines. So similar to like that,
So
if I have more messages and if I'm getting delay, so to divert to another queue, something like can we use no just
no, no.
just comparing with the auto scaling of EC2. Just I'm in that prospect I'm asking like see for example if you configure any in real time is MQs are similar. I think I read in Google just now it's similar to most of the features are similar to MQ.
Mhm.
uh, so if my load is increased, so and my queue is down.
No, but okay, I've got your point. So just listen. Like you are comparing it with auto scaling. So first understand that auto scaling is an automatic process. Like whenever your load is increased, so you are not in the case of SQS, like you are manually sending the message. And in the case of auto scaling, you're not manually increasing the load. Your load is increasing automatically by the end users, right? So in that case, auto scaling is way more different than SQS. And in SQS, you are manually sending the messages. So how you'll increase how you can say that your load will increase in SQS? Because if you have typed one message, or if then you have sent it, or you can say that like your message is ready and you just came here to send it. So how your load will increase because you manually send it, no?
Question I can ask while by comparing with the SQS and SNS. See,
No, no.
SNS, no, just one question. SNS, whatever the messages, if I want to send, who wants to be, see, for example, by configuring SNS, if any EC2
Mhm.
machine is down, I can configure through CloudWatch and I can put, okay, this is a operation, production support team. So if any of this production server is down, go to the message, any of this activity is not done, anything is
Mhm.
failure, okay, send this message to production support team. So I'll configure the group to that topic and it will send the message. They will receive the message and they will act on the issue. That is the purpose of
Definitely.
SNS.
Definitely.
But SQS, when it comes to
Uh-huh.
SQS, in
Uh-huh.
the prospect what I have explained just now in SNS, where SQS can be
No,
used.
no. It like yeah, okay. I got your point. Okay, so SQS does not mean that you are notifying anything. SQS means like if I want to like I what I do is I configure the SQS with Lambda trigger, right? What is Lambda trigger? Lambda is a function. Lambda is a serverless computing service, right? And Lambda trigger means whatever Lambda function you have created, Lambda trigger will trigger it. So when it will trigger it, when you will send the message with the help of SQS. Like if you want to start any service, like right, if you have created any Lambda function with at your place, like if you have created Lambda function uh, to for the starting of any of the server or to monitor any of the server. So you want to start the service. So for that case, you use SQS. You send the message from your place. So with the help of Lambda trigger, so your Lambda trigger will trigger your message to that service. So your service will get the message from SQS, and then that message your service will implement your message. Like if you have sent the message to start the service. So this way it works. Like it is not a notifying service. It is a messaging service. Like SNS is a notification service, and this is a messaging service. You are sending the messages here. You are sending the information here, or there you are sending the notification, just a notification.
Manually configure the SQS. See, I have a Lambda function which I have to see. For example, I'll tell you a scenario. Okay, I have updated a photo in website. Okay.
Okay.
And in a some X format. But when it comes to my S3, where I have shared the object, this photo object, and which is accessed by the end user, that S3, I have put a Lambda function, convert this photo, this size to this size, and update into S3. Upload into S3. That's a Lambda function. Why? Because of just I have to convert from 10 by 10 photo size to 2 by 2. Just cut. That's the function, Lambda function. So generally, those kind of on-demand executions only we will use the Lambda. So when I do this one in this process, okay, just I framed a example. Maybe it might be wrong. Just whatever it came in my mind, I put that one. So user updated the photo by 10 by 10, and in S3 object it should be 2 by 2. A Lambda function to frame that photo into 10 by 10 to 2 by 2 size. So in this flow, this is a regular process.
Okay.
So where I can configure SQS here. If I configure SQS,
so here you don't need. Okay, so here in this case there is no requirement of SQS, right? Here in
so
this case,
without SQS, I'm able to invoking a Lambda function, right?
Yeah, you can use Lambda function directly. Like there is no use of SQS here.
So can you please explain me now? So what are the exact scenarios with one scenario? Why? Because I frame this scenario, while framing itself, I can understand that. Okay, here nothing is SQS is not allowed required whenever the photo is got updated in website for any user. So it will get access to invoke that function directly. Will write it. The photo is updated with the 10 by 10. The function should be cut the photo into 2 by 2, upload the photo into S3. There is no requirement of SQS here.
Yeah.
So can you please explain us with an example, a real-time example where SQS can be used in this kind of scenario, any one scenario.
Okay. Let me think for an example first. Let me think of an example so that you guys will understand it. Just a minute. Give me a minute. I'll think of an example.
Sure, man.
Okay. I've got one example for you. Okay, so understand this. Okay, whenever you use SQS, okay, first I'll tell you why SQS and SNS are different. Okay, then I'll tell you the example. Like whenever you are using the service, in that case, whatever happens to the service, like the service is working properly or not, the service is running or service is not running healthy and empty. So in that case, you whatever notification you get it from SNS. Okay, but in case of SQS, like if you okay, I understand. Like you have one application, right? The application means ticket booking applications, right? Understand? Got it? Am I audible, Lokendra? Lokendra, hello.
What is that app? What is that app, Nishit?
Okay. So you have an application, ticket booking application. basically a ticket booking or any of the booking application. Okay, so in that case, okay. So in that case, like you have what I can say is uh, okay. I'll show you. I'll show it to you with the help of diagram. Okay, so then you'll understand it. Okay, so where is the pencil? Okay, here's the pencil. So let's say this is a bus, and let us make some seats also. So you'll understand it in that way. Okay. Okay, so is it visible to you? Okay, it is visible to you. Okay, so we have a bus with us, and bus means we have a travel agency, and you have an application with you for the online booking of the bus seats, right? Like I'm giving the numbers of the seat. Let me give the numbers so you will understand it. This is just an example, right? I'm giving you just an example of SQS, how you can use SQS with Lambda function. Okay, so like you have one application with you. Uh, Here you have one application with you. This is your online application. Okay, so your online booking application. So this is your online booking application, and you have deployed this application on AWS. Okay, or any of the cloud. And what you have done is you have configured a Lambda function with this application. So you have configured one Lambda function with the application, which in which what you have done is you have configured the Lambda function in such a way, like if your seat number 8 is booked first, so your application will get the notification for seat number 8 first, right? Like if you have booked the seat number 8 first, so you'll get it first. Then after that, if you have booked the seat number 6, so then you'll get the notification for seat number 6. Then if you have booked for 3, so you'll get the notification for seat number 3. So this is the way of booking. Like first seat number 8 was booked, then seat number 6 was booked. So how the customers will get the notification? So you what SQS do here is SQS with the help of Lambda function, like because seat number 8 was booked first, so the customer who has booked the seat number 8 will get the notification for it first. Then the customer who has booked the seat number 6 will get the notification for seat number 6. Then the customer who has booked the seat number 3rd will get the notification for that. So this is the way, like you can use SQS with Lambda function. Like you can this is the first in first out, like eight first like first 8 came, so 8 like my notification of 8 goes first. Then the 6 came, so notification of 6 goes. Then the 3rd came, so notification of 3rd goes. So this way you can use SQS with Lambda function. Understood? So
Where
basically,
lambda is
uh-huh,
where lambda is configured here, Nishit.
lambda, you configure Lambda here with the application. Like you configure the Lambda with the application that with whatever the
So
seat, like uh, whatever the seat is booked first, the customer will get the notification as per the booking of the seats. Okay, so this way you will configure the Lambda. Like this is, I'm just quoting one example because I'm not like able to remember any of the examples. So this example came into my mind just. So that's why I've just
yeah.
quoted this example. So
Okay.
this is an example.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just quoting example for you to understand it. Okay.
Got it, that concept, but still I have some confusion. Maybe I'll ask.
Mhm.
Let it progress. I'll ask you later.
Okay, definitely. If you have the confusion, then ask me. Don't. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like,
If
have you understood
you
till
have
now?
asked if
Like,
the whatever
pardon?
queue is configured,
Uh-huh.
here only I have asked whatever the queue is. See, somewhere the queue should be message should be stored, then it should be delivered to the app back, right? Since you have set up and response and request and response.
Tell it. Just say again.
Since we are configuring for the message queue, request and response, I have asked you, right? Like, what is the mechanism if the queue goes down? See, I have configured the app, Lambda, and everything with the queue message, right?
Okay.
So in the queue, if I will store the message. Okay, ticket 6 is booked, seat 6 is booked. First message came, and that will go to the respective users. See, for example, 3 users are accessing the same bus app
Okay.
for the bus. So XYZ Travels,
Okay.
they
So
have
I got your point. Like in the case when the queue will get multiple requests. So in that case, what will happen, right?
no. So for example, user A, user B, user C accessing the app. Okay.
Okay.
So user A booked one seat, two seat, third seat, respectively A, B, C. So first
Mhm.
at the time of 811, 812, 818. So when who has access, their response, see, request they send, response through the queue, it will go back to the app and it will get a message to notification to the user. So with the
Okay.
respect of the timings, it will go in the queue. So if the queue is down, for example, how you will get the notification back? That
So
was
why
initially
queue is down? Like I am asking why queue is down.
any cases, maybe if services are through where you have configured, if any
So
network
like
issue or anything, it
queue
can be happened, right?
queue.
See the
Okay. 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 Got it. Got it. Got your point. Like if you are asking that if queue will go down, so how your customer will get the notification, right?
Hmm.
So, like if you have like queue do not goes down automatically. Like either you can delete it or you can purge it. Right? Purge means the queue is not useful for you, so you are disabling it. Right? So your queue will not go automatically down. Okay? You either you delete it or you purge it. So if you are deleting your it or if you are purging it, so that means you have to create another queue and then you have to configure that queue with the lambda function. Because you do not go down automatically.
Okay. Okay, I'll come back to
Okay.
you with my question, exact question. I'll come
Okay,
back with my
because
exact question.
your question is not complete, right? Like have the scenario in your mind, but the scenario is only half. Like you're confused in your scenario only. So that's why I think you are facing the problem. Just write.
That's the question.
Just okay.
I'll
Just
frame
write
it
down.
and I'll send it to you.
Pardon?
I'll frame that. I'll send it to you. Why? Because general, I have to see back. I have come back with the case of generally I have seen MQ sometimes it will go down. Services will not run. So I'm comparing with that one similar way. So that's why I'm getting all these questions. But let me clarify myself with the what the exact difference between the MQs and
Definitely.
SQS.
Yeah,
Then I'll frame
that's
that
nice.
and I'll send.
So yeah, first clarify it yourself, then ask me the questions. I'll give you the complete solution.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, okay. Manoj write something. Just let me read it. Manoj, just a minute. I'll read your. Manoj, SQS gives you the notification in a queue manner, right? Like the. Okay, I'll show you. So what you can do here is you can create a message attribute. Manoj, is it visible to you? Yeah, so you can create a message attribute and you can use this message attribute, or either what you can do is you can uh, write a message and then you can use the same message again and again by just changing the name. So all this thing you can do, like all the things which we are talking about is you can do this with the combined like 2 to 3 combined services. So you can send the message manually also, or you can send the message in a queue manner. Like if you are using SQS, so your message will be in a queue manner. So you can send it either manually by typing manually also, or you can use it in that. Okay, Manoj. SQL. Okay, Manoj asked one more thing. SQL can be okay. Manoj, I've just I'll tell you what is group ID. I've told you that you can configure the SQS with Lambda function, and then you can use the Lambda function with other services. Okay. Okay. So group ID means like whenever you are sending the message, right? So your message is unique. So you have to give a specific group ID for your message, so that your what we can say is your end user or your client will understand that this message you have sent this message with this specific group ID. Because if you will not give the group ID, so how you'll like understand like which message belongs to which user or which end user. So that's why we create group ID. You can give uh,
Okay, Manoj. Okay, Manoj, let me read it. I've just told Lokendra that if you are using the uh, SQS with Lambda function for some of the applications, so you can use SQS to send the notification in that way. No, we do not link SQS to the instance. We link SQS to the Lambda function, and then we can use the Lambda function with other services. Yeah, you can use Lambda function with instance.
guys. Okay, okay, guys. Just give me a minute. Huh? There is some technical issue with my head. Just give me a minute, so I'll fix it out. Just a minute. So you can take a 2 minutes break for that till that time if you want. Just give me a minute.
Okay, so now we'll see SWF, simple workflow service. So I'll show you something about SWF because I've told you that SWF is a workflow service. So workflow means we can create the workflow of our ongoing on running applications. So we don't have any ongoing on running application right now. So that's why we cannot see it completely like how it works and all. But I'll show you how you guys can configure SWF. Okay. So before moving on further, I'll show you what is SWF. So SWF is simple workflow services. Basically, it is this service is used by the developers and all. So it helps to build, run, and scale the background jobs that have parallel or sequential steps. Basically, you guys can like this is for the developer. This service is for the developer. The developers can create the workflow of their services, their applications for like all the background running services. Like if I have an application and I have some background running job, like background services for of that application, so I can configure the workflow of that services with the SWF. Okay, so SWF help the developer to build, run, and scale the background job that have parallel or sequential steps. You can think of Amazon as the SWF as a fully managed state tracker and task coordinator in the cloud. So basically, task coordinator because you can create the workflow. So that means they are coordinating in your background task and all. So that's why task coordinator in cloud. And state tracker because whatever you are doing with AWS, if you have configured or if you have created the workflow of some services in SWF, so each and everything that like each and everything the my background service will do, SWF will have the track record of each and everything. If your app steps take more than 500 milliseconds to complete, you need to track the state of process. Okay, so basically SWF can help you in retry recovery of also of your task. Like if your task fails, so in that case you can recover or retry your task. So SWF will help you in that also. Okay. Okay. So these are some of the benefits of SWF. SWF is logically separation. Logically separation means you can create the workflow like workflow of like you can create the workflow of each of your background service. So that's why logically separation. It is reliable, it is simple. Yeah, definitely it is very much very simple. It is scalable and flexible. So these are some of the benefits of SWF, simple workflow services. So what are the use cases of SWF? You can use SWF in data center migrations. You can use SWF in video encoding, and you can use this use case product catalog with human workers. So basically, these are some of the use cases you can use. Like you can use these use cases uh, for SWF. Okay, sorry, you can use SWF for these use cases. Sorry, I've told you opposite of that. You can use SWF for these use cases. Like you can use SWF for data center migrations also, video encodings also. So you can do, you can create workflow of each and everything. Now, how SWF works? So SWF work means like this is something which what we can say developer do. So developer, this is like I have told you that this is for the background task. So each and like we can configure the workflow of each and everything from the server like web server end to the back end, like front end to the back end, and we can manage and configure the background services between front end and back end with the help of SWF. So you can encode the task, you can take the decisions of the task, you can take the DRMs of the task, or else you can have the execution history like input data of encoded task complete. So you can do multiple things with the SWF. SWF basically will help you in creating the workflow for the bigger applications, like background process of the bigger applications. This is not SQS, okay. Okay. Mm, okay, you'll not understand this. Okay. So these are some of the theories of SWF. I'll show you the what we can say the practical like how you guys can create SWF. So let me first delete SQS, my queue service. Okay, I'll go to SWF. Okay, so like if you are creating the SWF, so SW for creating SWF, you should have a domain with you. Domain does not mean that the domain which we use for websites and all. This domain and that domain is very much different. Domain means a shell or a region or an area for your workflow. So we have to create a domain. So what you need to do, you need to go on to manage domain and you need to register a new domain. So yeah, I'll give a name, SWF Cloud Saver. And a workflow execution retention period. So you have to give the retention period of your workflow. Like if I want to like if I want my workflow to be with me for let's say 10 days, so I can configure the retention period of my workflow for 10 days. So maximum retention period is I think 90 days. Like yeah, 90 days. So you can give the retention period of your workflow. If you want, you can give the descriptions also for your workflow, and then you need to click on register. So you guys can see domain successfully registered. Domain means you're creating a region or an area for your workflow to create your own workflow. You guys can see I have registered my domain. Now, in SWF, like if you are creating the workflow or if you are creating the SWF, there is one very important thing that you should know, that you cannot delete a workflow. Okay, the domain which you have created, you cannot delete it. What you can do is you can deprecate it. Okay, so if you want, you can deprecate it. Deprecate means what we can say, they'll move your workflow into a trash can, so you can deprecate your workflow. Okay, so this way you can create a domain, and after you have created a domain, so what you need to do is you need to you guys can see here we have got here at the bottom we have got quick links. So we can either start a new workflow execution, we can register a new workflow type, and you can do the new activity. So either you can create the execution from here, or you can create the new workflow type from here, or you can go to these things from here also, like at the left hand side panel at the left hand side. So I'll first of all I'll go to workflow types. So I don't have any. Okay, so here at the top I have to select my domain. I have selected my domain. Okay, so you can create your own workflow types. So you just need to register new workflow type. You have to give the type name. So let's say test. Test is my type name. Version, so I have to give the version. So my version is 1. Default task list, like what are the tasks that you want to do in this workflow. So create, uh, delete. So these are the tasks that you can do with the workflow. You can give the task list. So let me give a create task for example, and then you can give the default execution start to close timeout. So let me give for 30 seconds. So my workflow will start at 0 second and will end at 30 seconds. Default task start to close timeout. So I'll give it 30 seconds only. Okay, and then continue. So you have to give the default task priorities. So this let me give my task priority as 1, and review and register workflow. So this way you can register your own workflows. So you guys can see like I have registered my one workflow. Now we don't have any actions right now, so no actions execution and all. So you can list the executions and all. So you can do that. Okay, Manoj, write something. Just a minute. Yeah, you can say that Manoj, like guys, you can see Manoj has written something in the chat box. So you can say something like that, like if you for the back, this is for the background task, like this is not for the complete application, like running the complete application or running the whole service. This is for the background task of a certain application or the certain service. You can say that. Yeah, like Manoj, whatever you are saying, like yeah, you can say like I can say that this is not perfectly correct, but this is correct. Like you use SWF workflow for the automatic execution of the different tasks in the background. So like you don't have to do it, go and do it again and again. Okay, so I was telling the workflow types. So you can create the workflow, and then what you need to do is like if you want to execute this workflow, so you need to click on start execution. You have to give the execution ID. So let me give the execution ID one. Okay. Then we've got the advanced option also. So in advanced option, everything is related to task. Then I have to click on continue. Then here you have to give the input, like what kind of task you want to do. So you have to give the input of that. So input means you have to give the details of the task or the things related to your application. So we don't have that right now. So we cannot give the input and we cannot review it. Okay. So this way you can create the workflow task and you can execute it. Understood, guys? Guys, understood or not? Okay. And we have got one more option, activity types. So you can also create your own activity, like activity name. So let me give activity name is test. So you have to give the version. So I'll give one. Task list is, let me, okay, I'll give a task list as create. Priority one. So each and everything is same here also. So you have to give the description like what kind of activities this each and everything. So this way you can create the activity. Okay, so what is heartbeat time? So basically the default maximum time before which worker processing a task of this type must report progress by call. Basically heartbeat time means uh, you'll get the report of the task before you reach the maximum what you can say uh, okay, I'm not able to remember that thing. Okay, so you can get the heartbeat timeout also, like heartbeat timeout. Okay, so you guys can understand it this way, that heartbeat timeout means like if you are performing any task, so you'll get the report progress of that task after this much time. Like if I give the heartbeat timeout of 30 seconds, so I'll get the report of the task after every 30 seconds. So you can understand that this is heartbeat timeout. Then you can also give the timeout of task scheduled to close, like let's say 30 seconds. So let's say I have scheduled the task right now. So this means like after 30 seconds, my task will get closed. Okay, so this way you can give that, and then you can review it and register the activity. So you can create activities also. So here we have got workflow types and activity types. And in the workflow execution, whatever you have like whatever activities you have created, you can execute that activity from here. Okay, so this is SWF. We are not we are not seeing it in much more detail. Like I'm not showing it to you guys, like how you guys can configure it with the applications, because we don't have applications right now. So that's why. So this way you can create the SWF workflow. Have you guys understood how you can create it? And like I'm not saying that I'll not show it to you, like if I got some like already running application, so then in at that time I'll show you SWF, like how you can create the SWF workflow on an on running applications on. So I'll look for the applications like for any of the things with which we can configure the SWF, and then if I'll get that, so I'll show it to you. Okay, so understood guys, what is SQS, SNS and SWF? If you guys have understood this, so just let me know. Okay, okay, no worries. No worries, Manoj. Yeah, like I've told you that these topics are not that much, what we can say is not that much lengthy. But the thing is, these topics are something we can say complex. So that's why I think you guys are facing some doubts and all. So no worries, you can read it and then ask for the doubts. Okay. Anyone else? Like Manoj said his part.
So SWF can be configured based on the timings also.
Pardon?
SWF can be configured based on the timings. So every day I need to execute this workflow during this time.
Like what you okay, okay, for the timings, like you want to execute this workflow at this particular time only.
Correct.
So like you have to come at the SWF portal, and then you have to start executing that service or the task.
So instead of manually executing, so whenever it comes, the time reaches, so let it run the workflow.
No. So SWF is not for that for that kind of things, like if we are using the service daily and all. So SWF is for on demand things, like on demand tasks and all. So you can do that.
So you build a workflow by using SWF. Okay, how you will execute? Every day I need to manually run the SWF topic, is SWF one.
Pardon?
See, there is a recurring flow which I have built by using SWF. Okay, so every day it has to be executed sometime, or every day some action has, once this complete this action, then run the SWF.
Lokendra, your voice is like buffering. So can you write in the chat box?
I think it's going to take some time if I want to write in.
Because what happens is, like your voice is like breaking in the middle, so that's why I cannot hear you completely. That's why I'm asking you
Now,
to
are
write.
you able to? No, no, just now actually my network got broke actually, so just I reconnected through my modem. Now, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, okay, tell me.
See, for example, as you told, SWF is a mechanism where I can build a workflow. Okay, some process, right?
Okay.
So, but that process, if it is running every day, based on maybe particular time or based on some activity is triggered. So, in this both cases, if I want to run that workflow which I have configured in SWF, how it's where I can configure, okay, configure this
Okay.
run.
Okay. I got it. Like you are understanding you are understanding SWF in different way. So SWF is not for the daily task and all. Like SWF is for the specific task. Like in some days, if you want to transfer your data from the databases or from the data centers from one place to other. So these kind of tasks, we do not do these kind of tasks on daily basis. So SWF is for that kind of task. Like if you are doing transfer of your data from data centers from one place to other. So in that case, if you want to track each and everything, so for that you create workflows. Like SWF is not for the daily task and daily purposes and all.
So then above you said like when Manoj written like simply can we explain SWF as a automatic execution of different tasks in background. So that
Automatic execute. Okay, I got it. Like automatic execution means like you can create the SWF workflow, right? And then you execute it. So automatic execution here means automatic like when if you have executed it, so whatever you have mentioned in the task will be automatically done. Like you don't have to do it by yourself again and again. So that is automatic execution. Like automatic execution does not mean that it will automatically execute. So okay, so this is a difference. So there is a difference that automatic execution, which you guys are understanding, is not that. Like it will not automatically execute. You have to come here and manually execute it. But automatic execution means whatever you have mentioned here, whatever you have configured here, will be automatically executed. Like what like if you have mentioned that view like to track the create record, the to track for the what we can say data delivery record. So they'll do this thing automatically. So that is automatic execution. So Manoj, if you also like think that automatic execution means it will automatically execute, so that is not the correct thing.
so then SWF that activity, for example, I can say simply, so I have configured data from S3 to transfer to some other location.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, okay, S3 to Glacier. Okay, take this example, S3 to Glacier, archiving the data from S3 to Glacier.
Mm-hmm.
So I have built some mechanism, something like based on the time periods, maybe some steps like not exactly even I don't know about Glacier. Glacier is a archiving mechanism, I thought. So if I want to run, so what is the configuration I have made from the workflow? Maybe after every 90 days,
Okay.
take the data, load into Glacier, take the
So
backup of.
what SWF will do, SWF will track each and every record. SWF will not move your data from S3 to Glacier. Okay.
Okay.
SWF will track the records of your moving your data from S3 to Glacier. Basically, you are creating a workflow of recording, like tracking records, or uh, what you will do, you'll create a workflow like you are like what you are doing is you are sending your data from S3 to S3 Glacier. So you will create a workflow of that, and then what you'll do is you'll execute it. Okay. So it will track the record, or it will track whether the workflow is correct or not. Okay. It is not executing, or it is not performing your task. It is just tracking your records and all.
So for example, in between it got failed. So I'll have a log mechanism in SWF where it got failed. Something like that.
Yeah, you'll get each and everything in SWF.
So it's just a log mechanism. Can I say that way?
Not a log mechanism, but yeah, a tracking mechanism.
Yeah. So it, see, for example, if my requirement is from after every 80 days, every month, I want to archive the data from S3 to Glacier. So is that scenario, can I build the flow? Can I build in SWF, or the process I can link to SWF where it can track the each activity?
No, you what you can do is you can build the process, right? Like this way, you'll transfer your data from S3 to Glacier. So you can build the process here, and then whenever you will execute it, so it will track each and everything.
Okay, something like, say, for example, from S3 to S3 Glacier, I configure some mechanism to every
Yeah.
month. And,
Yeah.
uh,
So
no,
so
Nitin, listen,
whenever you
let
okay.
me finish. So S3 to S3 Glacier, every month end, I have to archive the data from S3 bucket to S3 Glacier. This is my scenario. I have built required mechanism. Okay, month end Lambda function I have written from S3 to S3 Glacier. Okay, if the date is month end, then okay, get the data from S3, execute this program, archive the data from S3 to S3 Glacier. This is my flow. I have written the logic, or what I have configured. I have done the required config. Okay, so this mechanism, while executing, I can link to SWF and track each record what was happening in this process. That is SWF.
Can you please repeat it again, because I think
Okay,
network
so
issues is going on.
okay. What I will, what it is okay. I have a S3 bucket and I have a S3 Glacier bucket. Every month, last day, I have to archive the data from S3 bucket to S3 Glacier bucket.
Okay.
This is my requirement. So what I was doing is S3 bucket I'll configure to this Lambda function. If what the program it will return is, it will check for every day. If it is month and date, it will execute the backup mechanism to archive the data from S3 to S3 Glacier bucket.
Okay.
So I have written that code in Lambda function. So every day it will check if it is month end. Okay, do this mechanism. Otherwise it will not. So this is my workflow.
Okay.
So this workflow, whatever, see, once every day it will check, okay, this is a month end or not. It will not do anything. So at the month end, it will do the actual data backup to Glacier. Okay. So in this, can I configure this job or this mechanism to SWF? First question.
Okay, I got your point. Okay.
Okay.
So I got your point. Like okay. So in this case, what you will do is you will create a workflow in SWF, right? Okay, understand. Like whatever you told me, you'll create a workflow of that in SWF. So whenever you will execute that process, right? Whenever you will execute that process or that workflow, so what workflow will do? Workflow will trigger each and every steps. Like my data will from S3 is now sent. So this is the process, right? Then Glacier will accept my data. So this is the process. So what workflow will do? Workflow will trigger each and every steps, right? And after triggering each and every step, workflow will track the details of each and every step, whether the steps are working in the correct manner or not. If the track record of my workflow or if the track record of my triggered function is unhealthy, so in that case, workflow will stop that process and then will not allow your process to move on further. So this is workflow.
Okay. Not exactly how got it, but okay. Some level of understanding it was happened. Maybe when we see that practically, I'll get it.
Yeah, definitely.
Where I didn't understand is in SWF we will write this entire mechanism, or whatever the mechanism I have configuration I have done, that will link to SWF. I'm not getting that point actually.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so this you will understand this when we'll see the live project of SWF. You will understand at that time. I'll show you that. Okay, I'll search for some project or like with which I can show you SWF and all. So like I have to look for it. So you guys will understand it, like how you guys can configure it. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, Vijay asked something. Where are the application is stored and then okay, Vijay, application means any of your application on any of the service. Application is stored on cloud or on like you can configure the Lambda function in such a way that your Lambda function will communicate to the application. So application, you can store your application wherever you want. and I didn't get how SQS and SWF is triggered. So SQS and SWF are two different things. Okay, Vijay, understand. SQS is queue services. You configure SQS with Lambda function, and SWF is a different thing. SWF is a workflow which you create to do the to, like, what we can say is to track the records of each and every triggered function. Like just that's what I just told, or I just explained to Lupian. Have you understood, Vijay, that? Because SQS and SWF are two different things. SQS, you configure SQS with Lambda function. So I've explained that also with this example. Where we okay, I have erased that example. Vijay, now you understood, like, SQS you configure it with Lambda, and LWF you create a workflows here, workflow of your services and all. Vijay, are you there? Vijay? Okay. So have you guys understood till now? Or like we have covered three topics. Have you guys understood it? Okay. Okay. So we have yeah, we'll do quiz tomorrow only. Like I'm not doing quiz now because we have almost uh, like took like we have almost took 2.5 hours on all these three topics. I didn't think that it it would take this much time, but it took okay. No worries for that. So we have completed this three thing, and we'll see quiz tomorrow. So I'll stop the recording here only. Okay, guys.